When we think about common diseases of the nervous system, we tend to think about them in categories, and we tend to think about categories of diagnoses throughout the body. But different categories would include things like infections, degenerative disease, and let me give some examples as we go. Examples of degenerative diseases would be Parkinson's disease. An example of an infectious disease would be meningitis. Toxic diseases, these are diseases caused by poisons, either natural or unnatural. These would include things like botulism. We would also consider vascular diseases or diseases of the blood vessels, which would primarily be manifest as stroke in the nervous system. We also think of metabolic diseases. These are usually diseases of the other major organs that have an effect on the brain's function. And we think about a variety of other different diseases that might be related to the immune system being triggered abnormally. An example of this might be multiple sclerosis. To focus more on common examples with which you might have some familiarity, Alzheimer's disease is an increasingly common degenerative disease which involves the degeneration of a variety of different types of nerve cells. This disease has become much more common as we've been able to control other diseases and allow for people to age longer. Additionally, as we control other diseases, this disease has time to manifest itself. A detailed example of an infectious disease might be meningitis. There are different types, but the one that's of most concern is a bacterial meningitis, usually of young people, which causes an overwhelming inflammation in the brain and can result in either death or permanent disability. One of the other more common degenerative diseases is Parkinson's disease, and Parkinson's disease involves the degeneration of certain types of nerve cells that secrete different types of molecules which help control our movements, so that when these nerve cells degenerate, we lose this capacity, and that's why people with Parkinson's disease have significant movement disorders. So the exciting thing about stem cells in the nervous system is the nervous system is one of the poorest systems in terms of repairing itself. Nerve cells either can't regenerate or regenerate very, very slowly. As a result, when you lose or damage nerve cells, the problems that arise tend to be long-lasting, if not permanent. The stem cells allow us to, as you know, develop the cells into any type that we need to replace. So, for example, in Parkinson's disease, there's a degeneration of a specific type of nerve cell. In this instance, the stem cells could be induced to produce that type of nerve cell so that we could rebuild the supply of those nerve cells. On the other hand, there are some limitations. For example, in multiple sclerosis, the real problem is damage to the myelin, which is the insulation, if you will, around the electric circuits in the brain, so that the stem cells really cannot replace this myelin compound. But other areas where they may be helpful would include following strokes for regeneration, peripheral nerves when there are injuries causing paralysis of an arm or a leg, and maybe even in Alzheimer's eventually. So anytime that a disease is resulting from cell death or degeneration, there's a potential for stem cells to play a role in various treatments.